Hi, my name is Dr. Arnberg. I'm the magic coordinator at Menlo School, and we have a fabulous sixth grader, Mentee. Alexa, please introduce yourself.
Hi, so as Dr. Arnberg said, my name's Alexa Muchnick, and I'm a sixth grader here at the Menlo Middle School.
Alexa, can you tell us a little bit about your magical experience?
So I overall loved this experience. I loved that everything was one-on-one, and everything worked out super great, and my mentor was totally focused on what I wanted to learn and was here for me. So I overall had an awesome experience with the magic program.
So in your presentation, you just told us about coming up with the idea to design a website to make websites more accessible to seniors, which is great. Seems like a very useful tool to create. Could you list some ways in which you try to make your website more accessible for seniors?
Yeah, so a couple things that Adele and I focused on were to have it bigger font, definitely, because a lot of seniors have visual impairments or don't have the best sight, so big font would help with that. And also one thing we focused on is if seniors aren't very good with technology, then we don't want to make our website harder than it really is. We made buttons super easy to locate. We didn't put a little hide link or whatever. We gave multiple attempts for the seniors, so it'd be click here, but if they also didn't realize that the here was the link, there was also another link beside it. So we were making it very obvious that there were multiple ways to get to the same route.
Okay. And you mentioned in your presentation that you didn't have much previous experience in coding. So how was it learning CSS and HTML?
So it was a little bit daunting at the beginning, I will say. I was kind of scared to dive into it. But Adele really helped me through the way, and I actually, she helped me one-on-one, with some of the topics I was struggling a bit with, and overall, I definitely learned a lot. So once I was in the code, I felt a lot better, and I learned a lot more.
That's great. And in your presentation, you mentioned, in addition to working on your website for designing websites for seniors and making it more accessible, that you did some other work specifically around grant writing. Could you explain what you did there?
Yeah, so as Dr. Arnberg just said, I focused at the beginning on scientific grant proposals. So at the beginning, I learned what is in the scientific grant proposal. So the problem statement, and then the introduction. I learned what makes up the proposal, and then so I learned the different components to it. And then after I decided on doing my project, I actually practiced writing a grant proposal in the same format that I had learned about.
Yeah, that's so inspiring to hear that you've done that as a sixth grader. I didn't start writing proposals until I was a graduate student, so quite a bit older than you are. So it's amazing that you were able to incorporate that as part of your project, and I'm sure that you'll be able to use that in future projects and at school. You also in your presentation mentioned machine learning and AI and its effects on society. Could you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, so Adele and I focused on learning about how AI impacts society. So it's definitely beneficial to people to have this very convenient use of AI, because it will help eventually one day with driving cars. It already helps. We use AI in our day-to-day lives without actually realizing it. So the weather, for example, that kind of takes into account how it will be. And also for example, the Amazon Alexa, that is fully used out of AI. And so we learned that it creates very a lot of benefits to people our age, and we don't always realize how often we use AI. And so we actually tried to come up with some more product ideas that would be useful to people that include AI and ML.
That's excellent. So you've talked about a lot of things, and you've explored a lot of different topics and concepts. Can you just speak briefly about what was hard about working on your project?
Yeah, so a couple of things. The coding was a bit hard with the project. So since I said I had no previous experience, my project really just started with me learning how to build a website. So I really just started with learning CSS, HTML, JavaScript, all of that. So that was a bit hard for me, because before I could move on to anything else, which I was really eager to, I just had to learn the code first. And then I actually started design process, which at the beginning I loved, but if you saw my first draft of what my design looked like, it would not be useful to seniors because they would have no clue how to use it. So I guess I got a little ahead of myself. So then I had to tone myself down and realize that these seniors don't really know how to use technology, which is the purpose of my website. So I have to make it easier and more accessible to them. So I focus on the accessibility, as I said before, a lot.
Excellent. Yeah, it sounds like you had to scope your work as you were working, and understanding what constraints you might be coming up against, that the project might be too big, figuring out the scope of your work. Your mentor is not located in the Bay Area, so as part of your Magic experience, you had long-distance mentoring. Could you talk about some highlights and maybe some difficulties around navigating long-distance mentorship?
Yeah, so Adele, as you said, my mentor, she is in college, so she's in Pennsylvania. So some highlights, I guess, about that is it was really all me to be completely independent. If I ran into an issue, it was kind of on me, to try to figure it out, even though Adele was obviously there to help me. She wasn't in my room or wherever I was talking with her to help me. So I guess that was a positive and also a bit of a challenge because some things worked great where it was all me to do it and learn it, and she was verbally speaking to me, but I was actually the one hands-on or on the computer actually typing the code. That also became a challenge a couple times. We were doing a Python download, for example, and I really couldn't figure out where my error was, so I had to take a bunch of screenshots, but I didn't take enough screenshots, so I had to use Stack Overflow and go in, and then I couldn't exactly find my answer, so I went into my computer science teacher, and he tried to help. So that was a bit of a challenge, but
yeah. So it sounds like you spent quite a bit of time also identifying resources and how to utilize those resources to work on your project. Well, Alexa, congratulations on a great presentation and a really fun project.
Thank you.